Hi everybody, this is Spring, the fiber enthusiast. Today's video is another crochet stitch pattern tutorial. Today's stitch pattern tutorial is Picot Trellis Stitch. For today's crochet tutorial, I will be using Crafter's Square. It recommends a 6mm hook. I'm also going to use a couple of stitch markers just to mark the end and beginning of my rows. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The pattern calls for a multiple of 5 plus 1. Now, when you're starting from a base chain, you're going to need to add one more. So that means we're starting with a chain of multiples of 5 plus 1 plus 1 more. If you're starting from just a, work in progress already in the move, you're going to need to make sure that your number of stitches is divisible by 5 with 1 left over. So 5 plus 1. All right, so we're going to do a repeat of 3. So I'm going to chain 15 plus those 2 extra stitches for my base chain. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then 1, 2. Okay. So the first thing we're going to want to do is place a single crochet in the second chain from our hook. This loop on our hook is exactly that, a loop on the hook. We're going to move 1, 2 chains over and insert our hook and make a single crochet. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to put a stitch marker in that single crochet so that way I know that that is the beginning of this row. Now you want to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, whoops, lost it, and 5. And now we're going to skip 4 stitches and single crochet into the 5th. So we're skipping 4 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4. And in that 5th chain, you're going to place a single crochet. And we're going to repeat that to the end of our chain. So chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 4 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4. And into the 5th chain, place a single crochet. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this should go into your last chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your 5th chain is that very last one. Single crochet into that last chain. And that is the end of our setup row here. And now we'll get into our 2-row repeat. So the first thing you're going to want to do to start row 2 is chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn your work. And I'm going to place a stitch marker right here at the beginning. So that way I know where the beginning and end of the row is. Okay. And now we're going to do what is referred to as a small picot. You're going to count over to the 3rd chain on your chain 5. So it will be your center chain. And you're going to single crochet into that chain. Now chain 1, 2, and 3. Right here on the side of that single crochet, you're going to go through both of those loops on the side of it. This anchors it down really nicely. Yarn over and pull up a loop through those 2 loops that you just went through. And now you're going to slip stitch through the loop that was on your hook from the top of your chain 3. And now single crochet back into that original chain. And that is a small picot. So single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch to that single crochet, and then 1 more single crochet, all in that same chain. Now you're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to skip over the next 2 chains, the single crochet, and the following 2 chains. So again, we're going into the center chain of the chain 5 from our setup row. And you're going to do that small picot again. Single crochet into that chain. Chain 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch down here into the side of that single crochet. So slip stitch through that and through the loop from the chain 3, and place 1 more single crochet into that same stitch. And chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to reach over here to this center chain of the next chain 5 space that we had made. So skip 2 chains, the single crochet, and 2 more chains. And we're going to place another small picot, so single crochet into that chain. Chain 1, 2, and 3. And slip stitch back down here to our single crochet. And single crochet 1 more time into that same chain space. Now we're going to chain 1 and 2 and place a double crochet down here at this, into this single crochet where our stitch marker is. So double crochet. Oops, drop my strand. There we are. Okay, let me set this down so that way we can look at it a little bit. So we have our setup row, our chain, our setup row, and now we have started our pattern where we chained 5, picot, chained 5, hopped over to our next chain 5, and placed a picot in the center of it, and then we chained 5, and again, hopped over to the center of the next chain 5, placed a picot, chained 2, and double crocheted into the single crochet at the beginning of the end of the row, but the beginning of the row before. That's always so confusing. So, so it matches our chain 5 over here. We have basically a chain 3 for a double crochet and then a chain 2. Okay, let's move on to the second row of our 2-row repeat. So this would be row 3. So row 3, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to chain 5, turn our work, and we're going to go ahead and move that stitch marker up to the bottom of that chain 5 so that way we know where we're at. Okay. So for row 3, we're going to skip this chain space, skip over our picot, and we're going to place a small picot into the center chain of our next chain 5. So that would be the 3rd chain of the chain 5. And you might have to do like I'm doing and turn it towards you. So that way you can count 1, 2, 3. So hop over the top of your picot here. And place a single crochet into that stitch. And 1, 2, 3 chains. Once again, you're going to slip stitch to the side of that single crochet. Just like that. And then place 1 more single crochet into that same chain space. And that's your repeat across. So chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're going to hop over the top of your next picot. So skip 2 chains, skip your picot, skip 2 more chains, and single crochet into your 3rd chain of your next chain 5. And do another small picot. 1, 2, 3. Insert your hook into the side of that single crochet. Slip stitch to it, just like that, and place another single crochet into that same chain. Now let's end this row 3 with a chain 1, 2, and a double crochet down here to this single crochet. There we go. Okay. So here you can see we have this trellis look to it where we're hopping up and down on the rows. And then you have your picots, which if it's stretched out a little bit, you can see it. This is all pulled together here. It would look best if it was blocked when your pattern was done. It would look really great with like a 3-weight, fingering weight, 2-weight, sport weight. Lighter weight would look a lot better than this 4-weight. However, it does work with a 4-weight or Aran weight, whichever you prefer. But that is it to this pattern. It is a very, very simple, once you have your first, your base row and your setup row, a very simple 2-row repeat, lots of chaining and picots. It is a fun pattern. I figured we're getting ready to go into spring, and a lot of summer tops and stuff like that are going to start being made, and this is kind of a fun little pattern that you could do real easily on a top, swimsuit cover up or something of that nature. But it can be used for all kinds of things. You could actually use this on the edging as a trim and just do a couple rows of repeats and do that around a blanket. You could use it as a trim on a blanket or trim on a placemat or a table runner, things of that nature. You could use it for lots of things. You could also make a kitchen curtain with it if you wanted to. Entirely up to you. Lots of options there. But that is the Picot Trellis Stitch. Enjoy. I hope you have fun with this stitch, and I'd love to see if you make anything using it. And until next time, be blessed and be a blessing. Bye for now.